There's John Reynolds' speech in the A4 assignment, Audience Engagement, and the title was Regrets and Confessions. So, first of all, with John, you always know you're going to get a positive start to the proceedings. He starts well, he's always confident, and that is an effect on the audience. I think you know that you're going to have an interesting time. He did say, when he explained it, first of all, there would be no recording, and that I intend to involve all of you. And I thought that's interesting. In the time we've got, never mind, more on that later. He gave us his recollection of the privileges and the problems of flying, a story about his father and his own experiences, and that was interesting. It was animated, lots of gestures, not particularly related to the content in a sense, but I don't mind that. I mean, people can have their own sort of view on this, but I think as long as the speech is animated, if people are going to use their hands and say, you know, I'm taking to all of you and this is what, then it doesn't really matter. I think the purists who say, oh, you must only use gestures to be specific about something is nonsense. It's not the way the great speakers do it. So, skipping through the speech, I mean, he had a very interesting time. There was an engagement, I thought, with the audience from the start. The idea of engagement is that people do more than listen. They actually think and they respond, and they think that they're going to take part in something rather than just be lectured at. That's the whole idea. And audience engagement is really important, isn't it? All the comedians do it. As soon as they walk out on the stage, if you watch them, don't they? They say, hello, Swindon, you know, or whatever. And it's just part of that basic engagement of not being a lecturer. So the outcome of John's first part of his story was that he told us he was going to ask the audience to take part. And the participation in that was going to be that he was going to ask you about confessions and regrets. And I thought that was fine, and it was well done. The final point he left with us were two questions. Can you rectify regret? Interesting philosophical point. And will confessions help you with the rest of your life? I don't know the answers to those questions, but they're thinking engagement questions, so they're worth having. Now, the points I want to make about the speech in terms of engagement are that people were thinking and listening and taking part. I want to not go through an analysis of the speech. It lasted 9 minutes and 11 seconds, and John thought it would last 8. I think that the learning points I want to give you on this, John, content management, because by the time you got through the story of your father and your work and everything else, it was over 6 minutes. And I thought, well, this is, you know, the audience participation is going to be squeezed into this. So you managed to get two quite concise statements of audience participation in that. But I think that's something to learn about, the content management. You might well have been much more concise, I think, in your early part of it, to compress the whole idea of, you know, your personal regret over the time that it would take you to be away from your family rather than take 6 minutes over it. I also think you might well have asked for 9 minutes for a speech of this nature. I know we usually issue it on tail, 8 minutes. There's nothing wrong with having a 9 or 10 minute speech. If it's interesting, it's going to involve people. Nothing wrong with that. So I think your introduction could have been more concise to allow more time for the audience participation. And time management. At the outset, I think you might well have thought how much time it was actually going to take to involve 3, perhaps, or even 4 people in the speech. So it's quite difficult. For something like that, it's a big topic. You might well have wanted 30 minutes actually to make a job of it, really. Yeah. But never mind. I thought it was engaging, it was interesting, it was very positive. I enjoyed it. I was waiting for you to get to me, but you didn't, which was a disappointment. I have a regret over that, but there it is. So I think, yes, you've shown that you understand the principles involved in audience engagement, and this assignment is done. So your next assignment is the showpiece.
Thank you very much.
Of course. And thank you for your speech.